Now, welcome to Kickstarter Radio 1 and 2.4. I'm your host, Lipstickpaddy, and today we're looking at Pericle Gathering Darkness. Now, it says an app-driven tabletop RPG. Now, we're taking a look at this because the Two Brew system that we looked at last week was all about being an app, and you were basically, the app was controlling all the AI, like in a video game, to see how the monster was kind of reacting. But really, do you need to go to the whole Two Brew system? Because what we've got here is the Games Master is on the app, and all the players have the role-playing behind them. So let's have a look and see what we get here. 10,000 backers, so they're on this kind of thing. Now, this is more RPG than it is board gaming. You know, we have seen board game RPGs like Gloomhaven and Madara. They're somewhere in the middle, if not bordering toward... Well, Gloomhaven's a bit towards board gaming, and Madara is slightly towards RPG, the way you develop your character. This, though, almost is very close to RPG. It has a tiny bit of tabletop because of you've got the standees and you've got a plethora of boards here. But when it comes to board game and app game, this is so close to an app, similar to the Two Brew system. So the interesting similarities going on here. This is why this is kind of an interesting Kickstarter at the minute, as they're kind of close with that with the Two Brew. So like on the Two Brew system, your character that you're choosing, all of the abilities are going to be written. Well, they're either going to be on the app, or the app will tell you you've got said ability, and in Pericle here you'll write it down on your sheet of paper. So you've not got cards for any of your spells or attacks. You've not got cards to cover anything that your character has. You're basically writing this down on a piece of paper and rolling a dice. This is one hell of a dice chucker, by the way. Benefit of the system, though, is that the AI is coming from the app, but the AI is kind of like board game AI and RPG, where it's like, oh, the boss is defending this round, oh, the boss is going to charge forward 6 spaces and he's going to nail you. That kind of thing. But what's interesting about Pericle is that it's a massive campaign that you're going on. It's like 4 large chapters that overarch into like a big saga, and you're going to play them linearly because of the difficulty in each one. But if you're kind of okay with a piece of paper and a pencil and a rubber to chart the course of your character, then you should be fine with this system. In fact, just like an RPG, this thing wants you to create a background of your character, which is interesting because if you've got Call to Adventure or you've got Role Player, you can actually in a board game way come into this game with a pre-created character. So that's quite fun, isn't it? I think how this actually evolves on a board game dungeon crawler is the fact that you've got so many double-sided sheets here for the places you're going to be going on in the story. So let's go down and have a look then. So £99, it's $99, sorry, it's coming in, and the companion app's going to be keeping the story, and you're going to be talking to NPCs and things like this. It says over 200 hours of gameplay, and you can kind of watch a gameplay video, and it is kind of RPG slow. Yeah, and it does encourage you to roleplay the character that you are. And the characters are kind of your generic RPGs. You've got wizard and mage, rangers and thieves and things like this. So 25 double-sided maps, that's 50 combat maps in full colour. That is pretty good for this value. Even if you were just buying these maps, they would be coming in at maybe $4 a sheet. So $4 for a double-sided map. That's still good value, and you're getting the whole like app here to tell you the story. It's really, really good. And 75 standees, but acrylic standees. This is making it look even better in price. And There's tokens, and you've got 15 of these black and white sheets that you'll be writing on. And if you don't want to import your own character from a system or something like Call to Adventure or Role Player, if you've got them, if you back them or you've got them, there is some pre-generated heroes, so you can get started straight away with any of that role-playing prep. That is pretty much a hallmark of role-playing. So yeah, I will put it 9 on the roleplay and 1 on the board game. That's how much it's lending to. In fact, maybe it's 8 role-playing, 1 app, 1 board gaming. That's how it is. Whereas the Tubaroo for me is 9 app related and 1 board gaming. So this is a heavy focus on the role-playing, which of course is coming from the app. But you are, I would say, 95% looking at the board, because you're rolling dice and you're looking at your sheet to see what bonuses you've got. You're kind of doing it all looking at your sheet. The app's not potentially going to remember everything you're doing. So yeah, it wants to keep that roleplay focus, and the app is just there to control the story and the AI. Now, this $120, bringing this magic item compendium and a new playable ancestry. Not really understood why you want to do this. In case you want to kind of create your own stories, you might want to have this, but the 99 should give you everything you need. 150 now, we're going up. More dice, you're probably going to want more dice anyhow, and some health trackers for your heroes and the enemy. So I don't know why they're not in the main box, to be frank. Get some extra sheets, which you can just print these out though. Just seems to be a little bit expensive, because if I had add-ons here, I'd just go 99 add-on, probably get the health trackers and the dice. The adventure logbook, that's possibly tracking stuff in the adventure, but you're just going to write that on your sheet of paper, aren't you? I mean, if this was closer to board game, you'd have a nice character sheet in front of you. It could be dual layered. You could have cards for every attack you've got. You might have cards for your equipment, for your armor, and special vials and potions. But for this, it's all on a piece of paper. That's kind of why it's pushing towards role play. And but if you're more board game, I want board game. This is going to be too much of a hardcore role playing game. Folk Hero Pledge. This 250, which gives you doubles the standees essentially. This is for people that want to create their own kind of role playing. They want to have scenes with a vast amount of NPCs in a certain scene that they're doing, because not all role play games are action. You might have lots of talkie, or you're in some kind of party. There's an event going on in a tavern. You want to fill it with standees and stuff to kind of make it more, I don't know, fun. Whapping it up here, some special dice, some large maps of the greater world, and a book of the art. Alright, well this is ridiculous. I'm still on the 99 pledge at the minute. And the 1000 up here, which is craft an NPC, a location, or a magic item that will be finished, that will be part of the game. I wouldn't worry too much about that. You could craft an item, location, or magic item yourself if you design your own roleplay, and you can do that there by going for the just need the adventure logbook here at the 150. Did I even mention this 200? Did I fly past it? These spell cards. Oh, you know, these spell cards are kind of moving it over towards the board game, aren't they? Where you've got some physical part of what you've got. Be nice if they actually did a deck of cards that would not just spells but items and stuff, and bring it close to the board game, but at the minute it's focused severely on that. So yeah, the add-ons here, probably go for dice. Logbook, not really needed. Magic Compendium. You might want to get this one, especially if you want to create your own games. I mean, the wizard. You're going to have a wizard. This is specifically for the wizard. Unless you have a wizard and a sorcerer, maybe. And yeah, these spell cards, it says, keep your spells organised and visible. No more writing spell information on your hero sheets. Now you can hold them in your hand, and it has 150 cards. So this is fantastic. So I definitely want to bounce this on my order if I was getting it. I don't know why they don't have this for items in the game. If they can do 150 spell cards, why can't they do items that the warrior and the ranger and rogue are getting? You know, it just seems... I don't know. They're like catering here for the spellcrafters, but what about the melee and range characters? Could you not have done that? It's, you know, it's like one step forward, two steps back. Health trackers here with these 150 health cubes, so there's quite a lot of material they're doing here, and it is. I kind of want to get that as well. I kind of want, I kind of want to bring it closer to the board game, and I think these add-ons are pushing it closer to the board game, but you're still on the role-playing edge. So if you if you get the spell cards and the health tracker, you've maybe now got 2 on the board game. 8 on the roleplay. You're kind of pushing it that way. I think if they did items, a full deck of cards for the items, so you warrior, you know, covered weapons and abilities and items and stuff like that, I think it might even get a 4 on the board game. I think it could do that. You're not getting any sheets like that. The full enemies though are getting done on the AI, on the machine, you know. The computer, there we go. Maps, if you want them, probably not. No. More standees. Again, it's to populate the maps. So here we go, the map. You bring in all the standees that the things. I think it looks nice on the table. Unfortunately, there's no kind of terrain or furniture you can put down. I think that the maps, the hexes on them are a bit too bold. I don't know whether we could put a bit of transparency on them. They seem to be overly obvious, and it takes a little way away from the board art, in my opinion. It has been going well though, and talking about material upgrade, this is really good because if you watch the playthrough, they're pretty much just sheets of paper for the maps, but it is, yeah, they're updating this. It says the chipboard, which is good. Dice have been engraved. This was a good one too. Lure Master. When it talks about Lure Master, it's talking about the computer system, so the app. The app will now have 20 more pieces of breathtaking fantasy art, and I believe the new art will also be updated in the cutscenes and things like that you're getting in the app. Here's a good one, the 90k summon creatures and companions. These summons will now have their own standees. Oh my goodness, it's sounding good, isn't it? More artwork for the Hero Handbook. Hanson League expansion. Now, a new threat looms on the horizon with warships and mercenaries led by Cunning Mind. So 20 hours more gameplay. This is getting thrown in. Could be side missions, but this is good because it's giving you more gameplay on the app. And with the app being focused, just like this stretch goal here, they could just release a new app and extend the game out by saying there's a new app expansion, because this is essentially what this is. Some more cutscenes added to the story. This is very, very good. It's suggesting 100 more cutscenes, and this could definitely flesh out the main arc of the story over the 200 hours. Yowza. Nice one here. 2 bosses and the figurines have just been unlocked. Cyclops and Leviathan Kraken. Alright. No, it's just pushing for more art. And these are kind of stretch goals because it's like, if we get this kind of money, we'll pay the artist to do more stuff. So these are kind of clear stretch goals that it's going for. Yeah, so Lore Master, this is the app. It will present everything to you. Give you soundtrack to the cutscenes, it says. Relay story arcs, decisions for your heroes to make. So yeah, the app's kind of doing a lot. And yeah, I think it looks solid. You've just got to have that kind of appetite for less board game and closer to roleplay. Because there's a lot of role-playing books that are coming out on Kickstarter, but they certainly don't have standees and they don't have maps, and they're certainly not app-assisted. So there's certainly a lot of modernity going on this role-playing game. Legends of Pericle. Win a t-shirt, a poster, even in-game loot, an optional minigame created just for Kickstarter backers. You can click here to go on the quest. Now these maps, again, you can kind of, it seems less obvious here, so they might be getting the trend, but it doesn't need to be that. I still think you can get another layer down of transparency, but the art kind of satisfies, I guess. It's satisfactory. I mean, it's not world's best, but you are getting a lot of these, so there we go. Getting good reviews though, there's the kind of playthrough. You'll kind of see there's lots of dice chucking just to check what you've got written on your sheet, check what the app's doing for the AI, and it looks good, and it's what you might expect. Now we've got Mexico on here, and it's just a little bit over WSA, so it's not too shabby. Now, I guess if there's an elephant in the room, is that your shipping's going on your thing, right? I've got to put 35 shipping on this. Well, you can just put $1 in to evade that. If you're not happy with paying shipping straight away on Kickstarter, you can go $1 and get access to the pledge manager. You aren't going to be missing out. So that's something that you could potentially do. This thing is not actually going to come out till June next year. I'm guessing the app has a lot yet to do. So, and the maps and stuff like that. Now you can see it's an interesting indie team. It's fairly large for an indie, I guess. It's not 2 people. And so what I'd love to see, and I think I would be more tempted to see, is if in this next 10 days they start revealing equipment cards for the heroes, because why is the wizard getting everything? Unless you're planning on going into the game and rolling 4 spellcasters. That'd be kind of interesting, but you know, it's like, oh, I'm in this dungeon, I find this chest, and the app says you found this amazing staff, it gives you +10 to your intelligence, right on your sheet of paper, 10 + 10 it's like, I'd prefer it if it was like, go to the item deck, get number 101, so it doesn't tell you what it is, and when you pull it out of the deck, you get that card. It's like, oh my god, the staff's so good, and you got the physical card, and then you can put it next to you, you know. Because that's essentially what the wizard's doing. He's got a massive spell deck. He's getting these cards, and he's putting them there, and he's got this deck of cards, and you're next to him with just a bare piece of paper. Now, obviously, the spell deck is an additional prize, but I think I might buff it out with decks like that. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about skills per se. That would be pushing it closer to board game, but I think it needs to get like items, armor, I think that'd do it, right? Because, you know, I'm a warrior, I want to see what armor I'm getting, I want to see what weapons I'm using. Same with the ranger. And, yeah, where's the healer? Is the healer not getting any love with this spell deck? Not mentioning that, probably is. But, yeah, so you're catering for the wizard, but not the melee or range. That's kind of not... I want to see that balanced out before I think about even coming in and $1 pledging this. But if it did, like, I'd consider $1 pledging it. There's no way I can sink 135 on this with the massive Kickstarters. I mean, you just look at the last 2 weeks and you'll see we got some big ones. Well, this is certainly a massive one. And, yeah, and please, let's hope that the devs can bring out these decks. It might put the pledge with the add-ons up to 150, but it's getting closer to a board game then, and it's maybe board game 4, roleplay 6, app assisted 2, board game 8. That's my grades I'd probably give it. It's got the tokens, and if you've got your cards that you can put down around your boards and stuff, that'd be nice. And if you're coming in from Call of Adventure, you can even bring your actual card for your character's face and stuff, can't you? So I think this would be fantastic, linked up with Call to Adventure, a game that was on Kickstarter last year that I really fell in love with. It's one of my games of the year actually on Kickstarter. But hey, Pericle, Gathering Darkness, app-driven tabletop role-playing game. I think it looks fascinating. It's another massive campaign, peeps, but it's not as board gamey as you think. It's far more role-play. It's etching a little bit on the board gaming, but it needs to do a little bit more. It's not 100% role-play, so it is catering, because, you know, we're getting these role-play tabletop games. It's like Vampire the Masquerade chapters, you know, that's pushing maybe role-play 4 board game 6, maybe role-play. Yeah, role-play 4 game. But this one's giving you a bit more pure of the role-play, less of the board game. But I think if it... Bring those cards out, bring it more towards the board gaming, so there's more physical components that you've got other than your blank piece of paper that you're filling in with pencil, then I think more people might be attracted to this. But 1,000 backers, doing good actually for this indie project, and it's got a lot of money due to its pledge tiers. And heck, man, it's good value even for $99, because all those maps, all those standees, and an app story. That's 4 huge stories that come into a massive saga. Yeah, it seems like it's a very good price. I wonder what the recommended retail price of this game is. I don't know. But yeah, good shipping price to Mexico. I think it could be $1 in, and keep pushing the devs to get these extra cards out, because I think everyone would go, yes, should we do cards for range and melee? Yes is the answer. It should be. You've got the artist on the stretch goals doing more art for the art book. We want more art on cards. That's what we want. More decks, more add-ons. So Pericle, do we recommend it? We absolutely do recommend it, because we think it's unique on Kickstarter. I don't think you'll have anything in your board game, and even if you've been buying RPG books, this has got 75 standees. That's going to be used somewhere, even if it is to populate your role-playing games that you're playing. That's pretty good, because, you know, you might not have a full collection of minis on your shelf you can push into a role-play game. Well, here you've got a big, vast catalogue of standees you could pull from, with loads of different maps you could pull into your other RPGs as well. And here you've got an app with a full storyline, and even suggesting they've got little cutscenes and stuff like that. So yeah, Pericle, it's looking fantastic, isn't it? Let me know in the comments what you think. Is it a bit jarring that you're too close to the roleplay? Or is it absolutely on that sweet spot for you, where it's got the board game, a little bit of app, and a little bit of role play. It looks good, and it's certainly, what do you think about the potential of using this in other role-playing games, and also the potential for getting app downloadable content to give you new adventures? It sounds very good. This thing could have a lot of legs, Pericle, and yeah, I'm tantalizingly, tintillatingly going to be pledging $1 for this sweetheart that I've got here, because I think the more you find out about it and the more you realise the utility that the contents of the box could give you, the more attractive this Kickstarter is becoming. Well, from this video, 10 days to go to think about it, and fingers crossed we get some more cards. It's my dream come true on the miracle that this Kickstarter could become. So Pericle peeps, really got a charming sweet spot for this, haven't we? At the station, absolutely. Well, love to know your comments. Leave them down below. Think about giving this video a like, please. It all helps the YouTube algorithm. And if you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing. Please check out our latest podcast. You check it out on our main channel, or you can find a link in the description below if you want the full fat version of the podcast with full music, which I really hope you enjoy the music from this week. It was fantastic. I've been listening to it like 5 times, that episode of broadcast, just because of the music. And that Je ne sais quoi song seems to be rattling around in my brain, because every time I get up in the morning I'm brushing my teeth, the Je ne sais quoi song, which is from the broadcast, is blurring like it's on the radio in my head. What can you do? Anyway, peeps, I've been your host, Lipstickpaddy. This has been Kickstarter Radio 102.4. You take care, stay safe, and bye-bye for now.